Laura Boyan, the Rose of the Wild Bunch. Today we're going to explore the incredible and often overlooked story of Laura Boyan, a woman who defied expectations, lived on the edge of the law, and carved her own path in the infamous Wild Bunch gang. Her life was one of rebellion, survival, and adaptation, and though she never gained the notoriety of the figures like Butch Cassidy or the Sundance Kid, her story is no less remarkable. Join me as we trace the life of Laura, from her early beginnings to her time with the most notorious outlaws of the American West, and finally to her later years, a transformation from outlaw to ordinary citizen. She was born around 1876 in Texas, a time when the American frontier was still untamed. Her upbringing was unconventional. Her father was a Native American man of German descent, and her mother came from a family of pioneers. Growing up in the lawless landscape of the Wild West, she was exposed to a world where survival often meant breaking the rules. As a young girl, Laura saw outlaws come and go. Her associations with bandits began early, as her uncle was said to be involved in criminal activity. By her teenage years, she was drawn into the outlaw lifestyle, mingling with figures connected to the Wild Bunch. It was here that she met William News Carver, an outlaw who became both her mentor and her romantic partner. Through Carver, Laura found her way into one of the most infamous gangs in history, a member of the Wild Bunch. Laura was one of the few women to actively participate in the criminal operations of Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch. Unlike many women of the time, she wasn't merely a companion or a supporter. She was directly involved in the gang's activities, including robberies and fraud. Alongside the likes of Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, and Carver, Boyan helped with planning heists, forging documents, and even assisting in robberies. The Wild Bunch was notorious for their daring bank and train robberies across the American West, and Laura played a role in laundering their stolen money, crafting false identities, and evading law enforcement. She often disguised herself as a man, allowing her to move more freely without suspicion. Her skills in deception and being able to adapt to any situation made her a valuable asset to the gang, but as the heat from law enforcement grew, the gang began to unravel. In 1901, the law finally caught up with Laura. She was arrested in St. Louis for her role in crimes connected to the Wild Bunch. Convicted for her involvement in robbery-related activities, she served a few years in prison, an experience that marked the beginning of her transition away from the outlaw life. After her release from prison, Laura did something few outlaws had the chance to do. She disappeared into society. Instead of returning to a life of crime, she changed course and took up legitimate work. She lived quietly, adopted a more conventional identity, and moved to Memphis, Tennessee, where she remained for the rest of her life. Unlike some of her former gang members who met violent ends or lived in exile, Laura adapted to a new way of living. She worked as a seamstress, occasionally telling stories of her time as an outlaw, but never fully returning to her past life. Laura passed away in 1961, outliving most of the Wild Bunch and fading into history. Her life remains a fascinating tale of transformation, from an outlaw among legends to an ordinary citizen who defied the expectations set upon her. Laura Boyan's story is one of resilience, adaptability, and defiance. She was a woman who refused to be confined by societal norms, choosing instead to carve her own path in a world dominated by outlaws and lawmen. Though she is lesser known than Cassidy or Sundance, her contribution to the Wild Bunch and her ability to survive beyond the outlaw years make her a remarkable figure in American history. As we reflect on her life, we see the complexities of survival, the evolution of identity, and the quiet transformation from legend to civilian. Thank you all for listening to the incredible tale of Laura Boyan, a woman who lived on the edge, and left behind a legacy as the Rose of the Wild Bunch. Thank you for listening, guys.